Welcome to the Get Trauma Informed podcast, dedicated to unraveling the complexities of trauma, its pervasive impact, and the journey towards holistic recovery and realignment. If your radiance has ever felt muted, like I and thousands of others, you're in the right place to reignite your inner light. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast. Well, hello, and welcome back. Wow. Deep breath in. We are working in our recovery journey. We are on our mini trauma recovery talks, and we are in week number 5. Last week was another big week. We talked about moral injury and survivor's guilt. Another deep breath in and let it out. This week, week number 5 in our The Warrior Within series, working through military or veteran trauma recovery. This week, we're going to jump into the body remembers. Big subject today. We're going to talk about triggers, flashbacks, and the path to safety. See, one of the things that trauma steals from us is the sense of safety, right? And I talk a little bit about my trauma from the womb, so I never knew what safe felt like, and all through life, until I walked into my recovery and actually 10 feet flat to the ground, trauma up and out, did I now understand and start to feel safe? Okay. And so this week we're going to talk a little bit about something that can confuse, overwhelm, and even scar trauma survivors, right? And especially when no one ever explained what it is, right? And trauma it's a wound, it's a scar, right? It's a unsettling place. And there's a lot of guilt, shame, blame that's thrown when we're walking through this whole phenomenon of trauma, right? I haven't quoted this in this series, but the CDC states that 70 to 80% of the population have suffered from trauma, and 20 to 30% then are supporting those with trauma. That means that trauma has touched us all, whether it's PTSD or complex PTSD from the war, or from the military, or whether it's from civilian life. The two bridge, and there's a lot of similarities there. So we're going to talk about triggers, flashbacks, and what happens when the body remembers the trauma, even when your mind tries to move on. Your mind tries to move on. I'll go back to my car accident for an example. In that, when someone hits you from behind, your body, your cells, it absorbs it, it feels it. And even now, years later, when a car comes too close to the back of me and I see him in my rearview mirror, my body flinches up, my body tightens up because my body still remembers that, right? A trigger is anything, a sound, a smell, a word, an image, or even a look that reminds your nervous system of past trauma, right? Think about that a little bit. The tricky part, your brain doesn't realize it's in the present. It reacts as if the danger is happening right now in the present. So let's talk about for veterans. Triggers might include fireworks, a loud noise, certain smells like diesel fuel, crowded spaces, nightmares, or combat flashbacks, right? We flip over to the civilian CPTSD or PTSD survivors. Triggers may include yelling or sudden tone changes, feeling ignored or dismissed, being touched unexpectedly, environments that feel unsafe. Now, what are flashbacks? A flashback is when you momentarily relive a trauma, not just remember it, but you feel it in your body. You may see visuals, you may smell certain scents, you may get cold, shaky, or disconnected. You may feel panicked, or you may feel frozen. The body is having a survival response, even if nothing is wrong right now. Okay. Why does this happen? Again, we talked about it. The amygdala, the fear center, is trying to protect you. The hippocampus, the memory sensor, it gets hijacked. Your body believes the old trauma is current danger. But here's the hope. What's been wired by trauma can be rewired through recovery. And that's what we're doing. We are rewiring our brain. All right. So here's a little more insight into the life of the trauma-informed girl, all things recovery, right? I used to freeze in conversations when someone raised their voice. That's that fear of authority, right? Sometimes I couldn't even bear what they were saying. I couldn't hear it. It was too much. I was in a silent panic. I remember once a song came on the radio. It triggered a memory of an abusive relationship, and I had to pull my car over because I was shaking so much. I had to just pull over, right? That's when I learned my body wasn't betraying me. It was trying to protect me. Okay. The path to safety. Now, this is something that I hold dear is being able to feel or finally feel safe. The pathway to safety. Triggers aren't signs of weakness. They're signs that your body wants to be safe. Flashbacks are not setbacks. They're survival memories surfacing for release, right? They're looking for relief. They're looking to be released, right? The path to recovery is paved with understanding, gentleness, and grounding. Okay, now let's go back into our spiritual reflections. Okay, and I put reminders in my phone constantly all day, and these are little checkpoints. And you may have checkpoints of your own, but I put positive affirmations in my phone, and they help me. They help me to stay grounded. They help me to keep rewiring my brain, constantly rewiring my brain. Okay. So our spiritual reflection for this week, Psalms 56:3, it says, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Not when I'm brave, not when I'm in control, when I'm afraid." God isn't intimidated by your trauma response. He meets you there, right? And I also want to be respectful of your religious beliefs. It is your higher power. For me, it is God. Your reflective prompt for this week, okay? Hope you have your journals out. What has my body been trying to protect me from? How can I start listening with compassion instead of shame? That's a big one right there. Let's create a plan for reclaiming safety, one breath at a time. Alrighty, I hope this week has been helpful for you. I look forward to seeing you in one of the trauma recovery courses, classes, or I'll see you next week when we tackle week number 6. All right, until then, go out and be fearless. Bye for now. It's time to buckle up. No more suffering in silence. Our Power Pack journey to recovery and realignment starts now. Remember, you were collateral damage on someone else's warpath. Trauma is not your fault. Recovery, however, is your responsibility. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast.